The Super Bowl is officially over. I'm recording this before the Super Bowl, so this can go up right after. So I don't know exactly who won yet, but it's not going to change anything. We're doing a 2-round mock draft today. We're going to be going through kind of where I think the draft stands right now. If you guys are into this NFL draft content, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. We are doing a lot of NFL draft content. We're also doing prospect spotlights nearly every day. We're going to have my positional rankings coming very soon. So if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Today, we're going to be doing my first mock draft I've done with trades. It's going to be a 2-rounder, so I'm really excited for this one. Leave a like, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into it. We start off with the Chicago Bears at number 1. The biggest question of the draft: are they going to take a quarterback, or are they going to trade back? They have said that they have the intentions to stick at number 1. And I don't buy it. I think Washington is going to come calling with a king's ransom. After hiring Cliff Kingsbury, I think that this is a team that is really looking to trade up to number 1 and get Caleb Williams, who is the best quarterback in this draft. An incredible arm, elusive. A Washington team that has some draft capital this year, have their picks in the future. I think Washington is going to make a move. And yeah, we are going to see the Chicago Bears trade the number 1 overall pick. Well, we got to hit start first. We're going to see the Chicago Bears trade the number 1 overall pick for the second consecutive season for a plethora of future capital. It's going to look something like this: Chicago and Washington. It's going to be 1, 2, number 36 will go to Chicago. It'll be a future 1. We're just going to force this trade through. And Washington is now on the clock, where they're going to select Caleb Williams, hiring Dan Quinn as their head coach, bringing in Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator, who was the offensive coordinator at USC. There's a lot of ties there. This is a new ownership as well that I think is going to be desperate to go make a splash. We see it in pro sports all the time. New owner syndrome is a real thing. They get in that front office and they're like, okay, we need to go get a big move. We just saw it with the Broncos management when they traded for Russ a couple years ago. I think this is going to be the Commanders' big move. Josh Harris and the team, they're going to try and go get Caleb Williams, and I'm going to have that one go down first. If the Bears don't take a quarterback at 1, I don't think they take one at all until maybe you take one way down the line, but I'm just not really seeing it. I think they're going to take the best player in the draft, in my opinion, and that is Marvin Harrison Jr. You've got now a lot of weapons for Justin Fields to work with DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., and really good speed on Marvin Harrison. This is a guy that could potentially run in the 4.4s, which is absolutely ridiculous. Great size, incredible body control, route running, hands, everything you want in a wide receiver prospect, you've got in Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Chicago, they trade back. They're going to get a lot of draft capital. And they're going to try and build a team this year to go help Justin Fields. At number 3, we got the New England Patriots, and great scenario for them. Drake May has fallen right into their lap. Great arm on Drake May. A lot of elasticity that he can throw the ball with. Got an incredible deep ball. There's a lot to like, and he's a mobile runner. First-year head coach going to want to get his guy in the building. We know New England is going to take a quarterback, whether it's Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, or Drake May. Drake May is my quarterback 2 in this class. He ended up falling down the board a little bit, and I like this situation a lot. So I'm going to take Drake May at number 3. Arizona's on the board here, and look, you could go with a corner. You could go with Malik Neighbors. You could go with a Rome Odunze. Go with a Dallas Turner. And I just don't like any of these situations for Arizona. There are going to be a lot of look for quarterback, whether that are the Atlanta Falcons, the Minnesota Vikings, the Vegas Raiders, the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints are going to come calling. They just aren't going to have enough assets to get this deal done. But I do think a team that will have the assets to get this done are the Minnesota Vikings. We've been hearing a lot of rumors that they are kind of all in on this quarterback class. We heard that they wanted to make a move last year to bring in Anthony Richardson, just didn't have the assets to pull it off. Similar deal. I think they're going to be a first for next year in this one as well. They are going to trade number 42, number 11, all the way up to get number 4, where they are going to select Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels. I think this is an excellent move for the Minnesota Vikings. You need your franchise quarterback. Kirk Cousins has been awesome for you. He's not your long-term solution at the quarterback position. He's a free agent this year. It seems like he's looking elsewhere. I believe he's going to end up in Atlanta. So you're going to need a quarterback. And I think Jaden Daniels provides a really nice complement, or a contrast, I should say, to what Kirk Cousins was able to do. This can open up the run game in a lot of different ways for the Vikings. Really good athlete, can run the football well. He's got an incredible deep ball. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison now have a quarterback. This is a to get a quarterback. You've got a solid offensive line. You've got a solid receiving group. I think Jaden Daniels has weapons, and this would be the best situation for any of the quarterbacks starting off. So I got Jaden Daniels to the Vikings at 4. At number 5, we got Jim Harbaugh's new team, the Los Angeles Chargers. And a lot of people are talking receiver here. I'm going to go with a tight end. I'm going to take Brock Bowers. I think this is the move that makes the most sense. Gerald Everett, Trey McKitty, like they've got a lot of tight ends. They don't have any great tight ends, I don't feel like. I think this is a really good scenario. Brock Bowers is the best tight end prospect that I think I've ever seen. Good blocker, incredible athlete. This is a team that is going to want to run the football more. We've already been hearing early reports that Harbaugh wants to run the football. If they're going to run the football, I think they're going to need some pieces in order to block. And I think Brock Bowers gives them the upside to do so. So I'm going to take Brock Bowers here at number 5. For the New York Giants at number 6, no quarterback on the board worth taking. I am going to take a wide receiver. It is not going to be Malik Neighbors. It's going to be Rome Odunze. They need a number 1 receiver. And I think Malik Neighbors' size translates better to a bigger slot guy. Not that that's a bad thing. Rome Odunze I'm higher on. I think he is an excellent route runner. On top of that, he's got incredible hands, really good speed down the field. He reminds me of a DK Metcalf type player. This is a Giants team that needs to go get some weapons. This is a deep draft for weapons. Go get, in my opinion, the second best receiver on the draft board, and that is going to be Rome Odunze. At number 7 for the Tennessee Titans, don't overthink it. Their offensive line is absolutely terrible. I'm going to take Joe Alt here out of Notre Dame. He has kind of been separating himself as the top tackle prospect in this entire draft. Good size, good athleticism. His feet do tend to stop moving after he is met with resistance at times, which I would like to see that improve a little bit, but this is a guy I really, really like. I think he is going to be a really good tackle. And now in back-to-back years, you get Joe Alt, you get Peter Skrzymanski, maybe you go add some more pieces down the board. I think this is a really nice situation here for the Tennessee Titans. At number 8, we got the Atlanta Falcons, and everyone's going to talk about go edge rusher here. Dallas Turner, Laiatu Latu, Jared Verse, all on the board. I'm going to mess around with the idea of Malik Neighbors to the Atlanta Falcons. I think this would be a home run pick. You can probably go get your quarterback in free agency. That's where I'm leaning. Russell Wilson has some buzz to Atlanta. Kirk Cousins has some buzz to Atlanta. I really like the idea of Malik Neighbors. Excellent contrast to what they have in that receiving room. Drake London is that possession receiver, that reliable threat across the middle of the field, that he's just got reliable hands. I don't think you have that home run threat in this offense, and Malik Neighbors can be just that. You can line him up outside, line him up in the slot. He's going to win deep, has excellent speed down the field. I think Malik Neighbors, a lot of people think he is wide receiver 1 or 2. He's my wide receiver 3, but I still think he is going to be an excellent weapon, and I've got him going number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. At number 9, Chicago's defense got a lot better after adding Montez Sweat, but I'm going to continue to add pieces along my defensive line. I'm going to take Dallas Turner, the edge rusher out of Alabama, can play that true edge, can play that outside linebacker role, which in my opinion, he might be better at as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 scheme, but I think he is versatile, could play anywhere on this defensive line. He is powerful. He's a really good run stopper. I like what he brings to the table. Production-wise, wasn't incredible, but this is a guy athletically I think has a chance to be a really, really good player. So I'm going to take Dallas Turner here at number 9. At number 10, the New York Jets. Again, not going to overthink it. Their offensive line has been terrible. I'm going to take Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. Really, really good player. you know, has some concerns as a run blocker, as a pass blocker. I think he is a home run pick. This team has to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be coming back this year. If he's not healthy, this team has no chance. They've got weapons in Garrett Wilson. I think they can make some more moves, but I think Olu Fashanu was a must here at number 10 to just continue to beef up that offensive line. So the Cardinals traded back from number 4 to number 11. They picked up another second. So this is going to be a really nice draft for the Cardinals. My first pick, I'm going to take the first corner off the board here. Their secondary has been a bit of a weakness. I'm going to take Terrion Arnold out of Alabama, a guy that I really liked coming into the season. I didn't think he was going to end up being this high on a lot of people's boards, but I think Arnold is a really good corner. He's got some really good man-to-man reps. He's fast, physical, can play in zone, can play in man. Really like the versatility in which he offers, and I think the upside for Arnold is absolutely insane. I think this would be a home run pick for Arizona, a team that is looking to improve that secondary. The safety room is solid with Budda Baker, but you look at the rest of this secondary, and I think there's a lot of holes. I'm taking Arnold number 11. At number 12 for the Denver Broncos, a number of ways they could go here. You could go quarterback, you could go defense, and I am going to go with a defensive player here. I'm going to take Laiatu Latu out of UCLA. I think Denver is in a really rough spot due to their cap situation, due to the talent they have. They're going to have to go BPA the entire draft. And I think Laiatu Latu is my number 1 edge rusher. Can play in any defensive scheme, has a plethora of pass rush moves, good run stopper, and he was absolutely fantastic over the last 2 years for the UCLA. The medicals are going to be a concern, and we're going to hear about that all draft process. But I think he has a chance to be a top 10 pick if those medicals don't come back negative, which I don't think they will. He's looked really good the last couple of seasons, so I'm not going to hold it against him. I've got Laiatu Latu at number 12 to the Denver Broncos. At number 13, we're going to take Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State. Really, really good run blocker. They've got Colton Miller on the left side. I know that the right side, I'm blanking on who their right tackle is. I know he had a pretty solid season, but you can never have too many additions on this offensive line. You've got to be able to protect your quarterback, whether that's Aiden O'Connell or whoever it may be. And I think that, corner you could go, but I really like the idea of just improving this offensive line. So I'm going to take him at number 13. At number 14, we're going to go with Jared Verse. Really good edge rusher. This is a Saints team that a couple years ago was towards the top of the league in sacks, towards the bottom of the league in terms of pressures. Once again, this Saints team has nobody that can generate pressure. Nobody. Jared Verse is going to be that guy. You need a guy who's quick off the line, athletic, strong. Reminds me a lot of Brian Burns in a lot of ways. Jared Verse has to be the move here for me because you've got to improve what you got. And I think you've got to be able to get pressure. You got Brian Brzee there. You brought in Isaiah Foskey last season, who, maybe not a guy that I'm the highest on, but I think you have to improve on this defense. So Jared here, 15. At number 15, we got the Indianapolis Colts. I think it's got to be a corner. The receivers are here, but I'm going to go with the corner. I'm going to take Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. I think if we look at a pure scheme fit for Gus Bradley, and that off-man zone scheme that he likes to run, drop his guys back into coverage, Quinyon Mitchell is the best guy for this scheme. You've really got a guy that can be one of the best off-man corners in the league right away. Really quick, has incredible reaction time, gets to the football, closes quickly. Quinyon Mitchell is an absolute superstar in the making, I think. And you pair him with Juju Brents, Jalen Jones, Dallas Flowers coming back. This defensive secondary looks a lot stronger, and I really like that for the Colts. So I'm going to take Quinyon Mitchell at number 15. At number 16, we got the Seattle Seahawks, and I am going to take Jackson Powers Johnson. One of the best players at the Senior Bowl, was absolutely dynamic. This guy is powerful. He's got long arms for the center position, and we look at the center spot. It's just not really one that I'm in love with. If we talk about guys that are, on the Seahawks, I think they need to go make another move at the center position. And I like Damian Lewis. He had a season-ending injury. I like Charles Cross. This team had a lot of injuries on the O-line. I'm going to take Jackson Powers Johnson, new head coach. Just improve that offensive line a little bit. Protect Geno because I don't see them moving on from him this year. And see what you can do. I'm going to take JPJ at number 16. At number 17, now this is a spot where I consider trading back because I could see them going in a number of different ways. Whether you want to trade back with a team like the Dolphins who wants to move up for a tackle, I just don't know if I see that. Houston maybe wants to move up for a receiver. Dallas wants to move up. I think a lot of these teams could look to move up, but I'm going to stay put where I'm at, and I'm going to take one of Trent Baalke's favorite things to do. That's draft the Georgia offensive lineman. Amarius Mims, I think, has versatility to play on the left side of the ball, but I think he's going to be their right tackle of the future. Maybe you can move Anton Harrison over to the left side. They've got options here. Maybe you put Mims to the left side. They're just going to want to go get an athletic freak at the tackle position who can move incredibly well, and that is what Amarius Mims is going to offer. I love Amarius Mims almost as much as I love Talise Fuaga. This guy was incredible in pass protection last year. I believe he had the lowest pass percentage allowed of the season. I think this is going to be a home run pick here. I'm going to take Mims at 17. At number 18 for the Cincinnati Bengals, we're already starting to see the buzz, and that is Tyler Guyton heading to the Cincinnati Bengals. Guyton is a really good tackle. Right tackle who played, I keep saying this, he was a right tackle for a left-handed quarterback. So you can switch the offensive line. He was basically what a left tackle is for a right-handed quarterback, was protecting the blind side of Dylan Gabriel. He has the opportunity to play on that left tackle spot, whether you want to move Orlando Brown to the right side or you want to keep Guyton at the right side. I think you can do either. Guyton is one of the best athletes at the tackle position in the entire draft class. I think this would be a massive pickup for this team who's looking for some offensive line help, especially with Jonah Williams likely not coming back. I think Guyton provides some really nice upside. I'm taking him here at 18. The Rams are on the clock here at number 19. And there's a lot of ways that the Rams can go. You could go offensive line. I wouldn't be opposed to a Troy Fautanu. J.C. Latham is still here. You could go with an edge rusher. You could go with a corner. You could go with really any position. They had a really good year, and I think they're going to continue to be a really good team. They always find gems down the board. They've got a plethora of draft picks. But I am going to go a different route than I think a lot of people are expecting. We're going to take a quarterback. We're going to take J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. Look, McCarthy is a very intriguing quarterback. He's got all the tools. He's got an arm. He's athletic. Hasn't pieced it all together. His ball placement is, in my opinion, right up to par with that of Michael Penix Jr. I think they're very, very close. But I just don't really see. I think McCarthy's got to go to a spot where he can sit for a couple years. Matthew Stafford's still the starter. Don't get me wrong. And I know people are like, I am not drafting a backup quarterback with my first round pick. Well, hang on. Look at Jordan Love. Look at Patrick Mahomes. These are guys that were drafted in the first round that were like, hey, you've got all the potential in the world. Let's just sit you for a couple of years. You can learn this offense. Sean McVay hasn't had a young quarterback to develop. That is something we've yet to see Sean McVay do. He had Jared Goff early on, but he got that a little bit, I believe, after. This is a situation where I think J.J. McCarthy comes in, and we know that there's not a lot of time left for Matthew Stafford. Go get J.J. McCarthy. If Stafford gets hurt again, you can put him in as a starter, but I think he sits for a couple seasons, and he's your long-term answer at the quarterback position. I think that's what I'm going to do here for the Rams at number 19. At number 20, the Steelers are in like a really good spot. I think they could go a number of different ways, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to trade back. I think that there are a lot of teams. You look at a team, Arizona could be calling to trade up for a receiver. Buffalo could be calling. Tampa could be calling. Detroit, Baltimore. There are a lot of teams, there are a lot of teams here that are looking for a receiver, and I think that somebody's going to have to trade up and get in front of these guys. And to me, it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to look to really go all in at the receiver position. And you look at the talent that's still on the board here, there is a guy that I think fits the Chiefs really well. So we're going to give up 31. They're going to move up 11 spots. I also am going to give up 63. And in this hypothetical, it would be 157, which is not going to affect this draft at all. Kansas City is going to move up 11 spots, give up their second round pick, move up to number 20 so they can select Brian Thomas Jr. They got Rashee Rice, who has been a really, really good weapon for this team all season long. But now you look, they don't have that speed necessarily on the outside. And Brian Thomas Jr., I think, provides exactly what this team is looking for. A home run threat in this offense again. teams are going to have to play further back. I think this could open up the offense for Kelsey again. You need speed in this wide receiver room. It's just the way that this offense is built. I think you go get a guy like Brian Thomas Jr., and this could really change how this offense is again. And this could keep the Chiefs in that Super Bowl runner seat for the next decade. I'm going to take Brian Thomas Jr. I think they are going to look to move up. They don't have many holes. Deep offensive line class. If you want to go get a future tackle in the third, you can do so. This has got to be the move for Kansas City. At number 21, the Dolphins have gotten a really good situation here. J.C. Latham still on the board. Troy Fautanu also still on the board. I'm going to go with Troy Fautanu here. Change it up the way I did it on my board just a little bit. Fautanu is a really good player. And the reason I'm going to take Fautanu, he has that opportunity to play that left tackle spot for you if you need him to, but he also can swing inside and play guard. I think it gives the Dolphins more options and more things to do with their team if you've got a versatile guy like Fautanu. So I'm going to take Troy Fautanu here at number 21. At number 22, for the Philadelphia Eagles, we are going to go with a piece in the secondary. I don't want to hear anything from Eagles fans. You know who you are. I know you're going to hate this pick, and I don't really care because anyone with eyes knows that the Eagles secondary was absolutely terrible, and they don't have the replacements necessary who are going to be day one guys. It's Cooper DeJean, and another reason why I'm taking Cooper DeJean, we're taking him as a player, as a secondary player, not necessarily as a corner. He might drop back and play safety. This team did not have good safeties last year. DeJean feels like a Howie Roseman pick, a guy who's really athletic, can play just about anywhere in that defensive backfield. Cooper DeJean is the best, one of the most versatile weapons in this secondary that I think I've seen. I think this is a great situation. I'm going to take Cooper DeJean here at number 22. At number 23, we're going to take an interior defensive lineman. I like that this Texans team has done on the interior, but Jer'Zhan Newton is on the board. We're not overthinking it. Jer'Zhan Newton is an incredible player. He is still my interior defensive tackle number 1. If you guys saw my Byron Murphy video yesterday, this guy is an incredible run stopper. He is a bit undersized, but he's also a really good pass rusher. This guy is quick. He knows how to leverage himself. He knows how to get to the quarterback. Jer'Zhan Newton is a top 15 in the class for me. If you get him here for 23, D'Amico is going to want to build this defense a little bit more. You got Will Anderson Jr., you got Christian Harris, you got Derek Stingley. Go get some more pieces on this interior, and Jer'Zhan Newton's a home run pick. At number 24, the Dallas Cowboys, it's going to be J.C. Latham, a guy that can probably swing to play that right tackle. They've got options with Latham. My biggest concern with Latham is his motor, and I've talked about this before, but there's a guy who gives up on plays way too early, and I want to see him be a bit more reliable. So I'm going to take Latham here. I think that this is a good situation. A team that's got some nice tackles already. Tyron Smith is a free agent, though, and they're going to need to improve this offensive line just a little bit more. At number 25, we got the Green Bay Packers. I don't know what's going to happen with Jair Alexander, but we are going to go with a corner here. We are going to select Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama. This is a guy who is one of the best press man corners in the league. He's 6'1". I believe he's around 180 pounds. Really fluid, really quick. Got great hits, moves on the field well as a track star in high school. There's just a lot to really fall in love with here with Kool-Aid McKinstry's game, and I think he's going to be a really, really good corner. He is still my number 1 corner in the class, and I know I had Mitchell, I had Arnold, I had a lot of guys go ahead of him. I still have McKinstry as my personal number 1. I'm going to take him here at number 25. Tampa's on the board here. They are going to select a corner as well. You could go with a receiver, but I think Brian Thomas Jr. is the guy that this team is going to want. They can wait on a receiver down the board. Nate Wiggins is going to be the guy for me. Really, really good athlete of this cornerback position. Another guy who's really fluid, really quick, moves really well for the position, and had a breakout season for Clemson in 2022. I think that Nate Wiggins fits this defense really well. Carl Davis, bit of a down there. Dean, you still got who's still playing good football. I'm going to take a guy that I think could be a really good option, and that is going to be Nate Wiggins. For the Arizona Cardinals here at number 27, we are going to select Byron Murphy out of Texas. The interior of this defensive line is suspect from time to time, most of the time. They just need some more guys on this interior. And I think Byron Murphy is going to end up being a first-round pick. A guy who's really athletic, maybe a bit undersized in terms of height for the position, but really athletic, really good pass rusher from the inside. And I think this is a team, we know that there's a team that wants to continue to build up the defense. I think this is a great situation for Byron Murphy. I've seen him go as high as number 11. So I don't think I'm going to go that high, but I do like this situation quite a bit for Arizona. They get a corner, they get an interior guy. It's a deep receiver, a deep offensive line class. You can address that later on, and that is what I'm going to do here. We're going to select Byron Murphy at 27. At number 28, we are going to select Troy Franklin out of Oregon. Speed, route running, ball tracking abilities. He's got it all. And for a Buffalo team that has a lot of question marks in that receiver room, I think this has to be the move. You've got to go make a move in terms of adding another receiver to this squad. I just don't think they have the guy, and I think this is a perfect situation for him. I'm going to take Troy Franklin here at number 28. At number 29, we're going to take Ennis Rakestraw out of Missouri, the corner. Another situation that I really, really liked for the Detroit Lions. This is a guy who likes to come down and defend against the run, and I think that is going to make him a very intriguing prospect. But on top of that, really good fluid athlete, bit wiry, doesn't have a lot of production on the ball, but he shows a really good willingness to make a play on the ball. The secondary got torched at times last year. I know Emmanuel Mosley got hurt. CJ Gardner-Johnson was up and down. Cam Sutton was up and down. Ennis Rakestraw, I think, is the move for you. I think that's the guy, and I'm going to select him here at number 29. At number 30, we're going to take another one of the Senior Bowl risers, and that is going to be Darius Robinson. Interesting thing for Baltimore, you got Justin Madubuike, who is a free agent, but I think Darius Robinson provides you a lot of versatility and a lot of upside to rush the passer, which I really like. If you want to play him on the inside, you can do so. If you want to play him as an edge, you can do so. Darius Robinson is a very versatile athlete. I love what he can do. I'm going to take him here at number 30. At number 31, a little bit of buzz that we were hearing around the Senior Bowl was that Mike Tomlin was really looking at the quarterback prospects. And I'm going to take a quarterback here. We're not going to take a Bo Nix. We're going to select Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. Yeah, I know that was not something you were expecting to see, but I've got 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. I still think Penix is a first-round talent. Had a bit of a rough go in the national championship game, but did we forget what happened the last 2 seasons? He's a really good player. Great arm. Not exactly the most mobile quarterback, but I don't think that's the Steeler way necessarily. I still think he's got first-round potential. Of all the quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl, outside of Spencer Rattler, I think Penix probably had the best week. Showed his arm talent, showed the way he can fit the ball into tight windows. I really like that for Penix. I'm going to take him here at number 31. And then the final pick of the first round, we are going to select Jordan Morgan out of Arizona, a guy who could play right tackle, but I can also play guard. And this is a team that I think almost everyone on the offensive line. So I'm going to just take a guy that I can play in a lot of different positions, and we'll figure out what to do with him after that. We enter the second round, and Carolina at number 33 is going to select Keon Coleman. I like this situation for him. He's a really good athlete. He's fast. He's physical, a great contested catch receiver. Has fallen down the boards because he's not really a great separator nor a great route runner. If he can improve on those things, I think he could be a really good player in the NFL, but we just haven't seen him do that at this point. I think he's got the upside to be a wide receiver 1. I'm going to take him here at number 33 and just give Bryce Young another weapon. At number 34, again, give your quarterback a weapon because there's absolutely nobody. And when you see Ladd McConkey, you see him in a Patriots uniform. I don't really have to say much more. A guy who's a really good, speedy athlete, an incredible route runner, though. And I think he offers a lot of upside in terms of his route running ability. I'm going to take him here at number 34. At number 35, very interesting where I'm debating on going. Again, lots of really great receivers still on the board. You look at this. They need a number 1. Adonai Mitchell, you could take. Xavier Legette, Jalen Polk, Tez Walker, Ricky Pearsall, Roman Wilson. A lot of really good guys. And I am still looking at this offensive line. You drafted a guy like a Paris Johnson last year. It was great. I think I'm going to wait again take a receiver at number 42. I'm going to take a guard, and it's not going to be Graham Barton. It's not going to be Zach Frazier. We're going to take Christian Haynes out of UConn, a guy who's really athletic, has excellent hands, and is arguably the best pure guard in the entire draft class. This would be a home run situation here for the Cardinals. Improve that offensive line a little bit more. Again, I know Cardinals fans want a receiver. You got another second-round pick. I'm still going to take a receiver more than likely. I think I can wait on an edge rusher. So we are going to select Christian Haynes at number 35. At number 36, we're going to see a trade here. Bo Nix is still on the board, and somebody's going to come calling for Bo Nix. And to me, it's the New Orleans Saints. There are some teams ahead of them that I think could be on the lookout for a quarterback. I'm going to give up 45, and I would give up a future third-round pick to get this deal to go down. And you look at this, Atlanta could be looking for Bo Nix. The Raiders could be looking at Bo Nix. The Giants could be looking at Bo Nix. Similar to what Tennessee did last year with Will Levis, I think that's what the Saints are going to do. And they're going to trade up and get Bo Nix. Doesn't look like Derek Carr is going to be there for a very long time. Had a bit of a rough season. And Bo Nix is a really good quarterback, I think. Good athlete, can throw the ball on the move. Just puts him close to home. He's from Alabama, so this puts him pretty close to where he's from. I like this situation quite a bit for Bo Nix. I think the Saints get a quarterback, and I think it's a good situation for him. The Chargers at number 37. Now, a lot of different ways that you could go here. You could look corner, and there's really not a corner that I like taking for this team. Lassiter's on the board. I don't think they need another project corner. Interior defensive line. T'Vondre Sweat is a guy that I really, really like the idea of them taking. You could also go with the tackle. Kingsley Suamataia, Patrick Paul. I'm going to go with a guy who has tackle versatility, but can play on the inside a little bit. And we're going to take Graham Barton here. An idea I haven't really messed around with, but you've got some injuries that are consistently showing up on the interior. Maybe you could go get a left guard. Jamari Salyer, you got Zion Nelson's been okay. The center spot, Corey Linsley, I don't remember if he retired. I know there was something that was going on with him. Either way, having more offensive linemen never hurts. He could play right tackle for you. He's played almost everywhere on this offensive line. I'm going to take a chance on a Graham Barton here at number 37. At number 38 for the Titans, a team that I think can afford to take a raw kind of cornerback prospect, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take Jalen Polk out of Washington here. One of my favorite receivers in this class. Really quick, really good hands, good ball tracking ability. Maybe not the fastest, but I think there's a guy who's a really good weapon for your offense. And I think Jalen Polk fits what this team wants to do. So I'm going to take Jalen Polk here at number 38. At number 39, we're going to take a guy who I think has some guard versatility. I think this would be where Graham Barton would go, but we're going to take Kingsley Suamataia. Played left tackle, played right tackle, lined up at guard at the Senior Bowl. If the Giants want him to play right tackle and they want to move Evan Neal to guard, it's a great situation. If you want to put Suamataia at guard, hope that Evan Neal can pan out at tackle, also a good situation. There's a lot of options here, I think, for the Giants. I think Kingsley Suamataia gives them a lot of versatility and stuff that I don't think that they were expecting to have. So I'm going to take Kingsley here at number 39. At number 40, the Commanders traded both their edge rushers. I think they are going to replenish it. It's not going to be Chop Robinson or Braylon Trice. It's going to be Chris Braswell, a guy who I think has hear his name called in round 1 by San Francisco. I really did consider that, but I really like Chris Braswell. Had a really productive season, really good pass rusher. And I think that's kind of what this team needs. You don't have Montez Sweat. You don't have Chase Young. Yes, you can go get O-line, but I'm going to wait a little bit on that. I'm going to take an edge rusher here. In a weaker edge class, it is a strong O-line class. I'm going to take Chris Braswell there. At number 41, we are going to select Patrick Paul out of Houston. There's a lot of question marks about this offensive line. David Bakhtiari is injury prone. I don't think he's going to end up coming back. Maybe you decide to keep Zach Tom at right tackle, and you get Patrick Paul here, who's 6'7", 320 pounds, and an absolute monster on this offensive line. Incredibly productive in terms of his pass protection. If you look at his run blocking, it can be up and down at times, but I think Patrick Paul would be an excellent addition for this team. And I really, really like that situation. So I'm going to take him at number 42 or 41, excuse me. At 42, I already know that Cardinals fans are like, let's just wait on a receiver. Let's take Chop Robinson. I'm not high on Chop Robinson. I'm just not. Receiver, there's still so much talent at this receiver position. I'm going to take Adonai Mitchell at 42, a guy who's 6'4", 210 pounds. He's a really solid route runner. Not an amazing separator, but he can win down the field. And this team needs size at the receiver position. I like Hollywood Brown. He is a free agent, though. I like Michael Wilson. I think he's a good number 2. I like Rondale Moore. He's a gadget slot guy. Who is your number 1 that's going to take the top off the defense? That's now Adonai Mitchell. I think they get a guy who is really high potential here. I'm going to take him at number 42. At number 43, we've got the Atlanta Falcons, and this is where Chop Robinson is going to come off the board. The fall stops here for me. I just don't really see a world where Chop Robinson falls outside the top 45. Why does he fall so low? He's just not been as productive as you would like to see. And that's what it comes down to. You want to see more production from him. We just haven't seen it. I think that he's raw. He's undersized, shorter arms, and I think he's got a lot of question marks. So I'm going to take him here at number 43 to the Falcons. They drafted a Penn State edge rusher a couple years ago that didn't pan out. Arnold Ebiketie. Maybe Chop Robinson could be a little bit different for him. At number 44, we got the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm going to take Kamari Lassiter here out of Georgia. Good raw corner. They've got some pieces there. I think this is a good situation for them to, make a move to he can develop here nicely. They got Antonio Pierce as your head coach. I think Kamari Lassiter is a really good situation here. He's still on the board. Got to take him here at number 44. At number 45, really tough decision for me to make here, but I am going to take center Zach Frazier. The Bears haven't had a good center in quite some time, and I think that this has got to be a move where you've just got to go get a nice center prospect, and I think this can be that guy for you. Really good athlete. I believe he's 6'4", 326 pounds, something around that. Good athlete, big hands, long arms, tested out really well. Coming off an injury, but Zach Frazier is one of my favorite players in this draft class. I think this would be an awesome selection for the Bears. At number 46, we got my Indianapolis Colts here. And you look at Braylon Trice on the board here. I don't really love that fit for Gus Bradley's defense, so I'm not going to go there. Receivers in play, trying to see which teams I could see coming up, because you've got Braylon Trice on the board, you've got a safety on the board that I like, but you've also got a really good interior defensive lineman, and I'm going to have Cleveland make the call to just move up just a little bit. This is their first pick of the draft. They're going to move up with Indianapolis here. They're going to trade up 8 spots. They're going to give up 134 in this deal, and they're going to give up a future 4 as well. I'm going to have them move up. Doesn't really affect this as much. Good receivers, but they're moving up to select Tavondre Sweat out of Texas. Guy who has some pass rush upside, but this guy is 362 pounds and is an absolute dominant run stuffer. Their run defense improved. They had a good defense in terms of points allowed. I want to see them be impossible to run the football against. I think that's what this gives them the opportunity to do. It's going to be really hard to move the football. I'm going to take Tavondre Sweat here at number 46. At number 47, we are going to select a safety here. Xavier McKinney is a free agent. I like Tyler Nubbin here as that strong safety, really good tackler, comes down in the run game, does the dirty work, and has a really good ball production. Him and Cam Kitchens are right there in terms of my number 1 safety. You could talk me into either one. I think they're both going to be really, really good players, but I'm going to take Tyler Nubbin here at number 47 for the Giants. And at number 48, this is where we're going to see Braylon Trice come off the board. Excellent value at number 48, but a bit on the slower side. This guy's been a dynamic pass rusher, though. He knows how to get to the quarterback. He knows how to put pressure on the quarterback. And I think that's what teams are going to like to see. He's has led the FBS in pressures the last couple of seasons. I think we're going to see another really good productive year from him. I'm taking Braylon Trice at number 48. At number 49, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to take Chris Jenkins. I know receivers are in play as well, but I think this team desperately needs an interior defensive lineman, a guy who can come in and be that DJ Reader replacement, because they're not going to be able to bring him back. I really just don't see him coming back. I considered them moving up for Devondre Sweat, but I think Jenkins, really good run stuffer as well, and he offers a little bit of the pass rusher. Still a bit raw as a pass rusher, but I think the upside is certainly there. At number 50, the Philadelphia Eagles are back on the clock, and I am going to take a linebacker here, and it is the best linebacker in the class, and that is Edgerrin Cooper. Excellent coverage linebacker, but this is a guy who can also come down and rush the passer a little bit. This team just doesn't have linebackers. They need guys that are going to cover. They need coverage guys, and I think this is the guy that could be that piece for you. Can cover really well, but rush the passer, can be used in a lot of different ways. And for Vic Fangio, those linebackers always play a big role. I'm taking Edgerrin Cooper now at number 50. At number 51, I mean, on the board, you've got so much talent here. You could go with the slot receiver. I'm going to take a receiver for sure for this team. I mean, you could look at the corners. Am I in love with any of them? Not necessarily. I'm not in love with them. Linebacker, not really in love with those guys either. Interior guys, no. The other tackle, Kieran Amagaji, is an interesting one. I think there's a chance he's still on the board for me later on. There's a lot of ways that this team could go. You could also talk me into a safety, because outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick, I just don't know if they've got that guy. I like Cam Kitchens here, but we're going to look at the interior options. BB's a really interesting one. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to take Dominic Puny out of Kansas here. One pick that you guys probably didn't expect to see, but this is a guy who had a really good Senior Bowl week. Played left tackle this past season for Kansas. Played left guard the season before that. Really versatile. Really good athlete. I think that's kind of what this team is looking for. You got a guy who could play tackle. He could swing and play left guard. You've got options now, and I think he also could play some center for you. I like this a lot for the Steelers. At number 52, this is where we're going to see TJ Tampa come off the board for the Los Angeles Rams. And we'll look at the board, the big board first. But yeah, I'm going to take TJ Tampa here. I think this is a really good situation. This is a guy that I feel like is going to develop into a very nice guy, but still a bit on the raw side. And I think that's kind of where we've seen the Rams go the last few years. Bit of a raw player, but I think the upside is certainly there. I'm going to take TJ Tampa here at number 52. At number 53, we're going to see a receiver come off the board, and that's going to be Xavier Worthy out of Texas. Why am I taking him over Leggett, Pearsall, and Walker? Speed. This team needs more speed in that receiver room. I think they need a guy that is going to play that slot role, can complement Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown a little bit better. I think that's exactly what Xavier Worthy is going to do. At number 54, the Colts trade back, and they're going to get Xavier Leggett. Excellent addition. 6'1", 200 pounds. Good athlete again. Had a bit small hands at the Senior Bowl. Not necessarily the greatest separator, but he's going to be a outside threat for this team. A deep ball threat. Could be an A.J. Brown type of player. I really do like that upside, and I think Leggett has the upside to be a really, really nice option. So I'm going to take him here at number where are we at? 54, excuse me. At number 55, another few ways I could see Miami going. I wouldn't be mad about addressing D-line or O-line yet again. Interior defensive line is very interesting. Leonard Taylor can rush the passer. Could be a nice compliment to Christian Wilkins. I don't hate that. You could also go linebacker. I am going to go edge rushers in play as well. There's a lot of ways that Miami could look. I think we're going to go with Jatavian Sanders here. They don't really have a tight end, and this is a vertical threat tight end who I think can push the ball down the field. Good athlete, good blocker. Well, a good blocker in space, an inline blocker. You still got some question marks, but just another reliable weapon for this offense. I never think you can have too many of those. I've taken him here at number 55. At number 56, we're going to take a receiver here. That's going to be Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. Yes, Tez Walker is going to continue to drop a little bit for me, but look, Pearsall's a really good weapon. Good route runner, really good separator, but Well, I think he has a little bit of ways to go as a separator, but really good route runner, really shifty, can be used in a lot of different ways. And I think that's what this Cowboys team is in need of. Michael Gallup is a free agent or has not been good. Brandon Cooks is a free agent, excuse me. Go get a guy here. Ricky Parasol is the answer. And then we'll see Tez Walker come off the board now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like Tez Walker. I like what this guy can offer, but I think they need to add some more pieces around him. You got Chris Godwin, this guy who has excellent speed, but really just not good against contact, not physical in the slightest. I think this is a really good situation for him, though, and I'm going to take him here at number 57. At number 58, Cam Kitchens is going to come off the board here to the Green Bay Packers. Safety is a need for this team. You get arguably the best one in the class. Don't overthink it. I think this is a really good situation for the Packers. At number 59, we are going to select a guy that I'm a big fan of, and that's Cooper Beebe. Maybe not the most athletic guy in the world, but this is a guy who could play tackle, could play guard, has versatility to play anywhere. I think that this is a team that has had some issues on the interior, especially at those two guard spots. Shaq Mason, you haven't really seen very much. I'm blanking on the name, but Kenyon Green hasn't developed the way that you would hope. Go get Cooper Beebe, who I think could be a reliable guy for you right away. Start immediately and be a really good guard for you. So that's what I'm going to do here. At number 60, we have the Buffalo Bills. And a lot of ways you could go, but I want to address their secondary a little bit. I'm going to take Chris Abrams-Drain. I think this guy could be a really good zone corner. Really good ball skills. He's had a lot of production over the last few seasons. I think he's going to be a really nice weapon in the NFL. So I like what he brings to the table, and I'm not going to overthink this pick. I'm going to take him here at number 60. At number 61 for the Detroit Lions, you took Ennis Rakestraw earlier. Guard is still a major need for this team, that right guard spot. Zach Zinter coming off an injury. I just don't know how comfortable I feel taking him here. Offensive tackles that could maybe swing guard. I mean, I like Amagaji. I just don't know if I like him here. D-line is probably where we could look, or try to think of another. I'm going to take Roman Wilson, actually. Yeah, I think this is a pick that I really like for this team. You got Amon-Ra, who can play a lot of different roles. You got Jamison Williams. Outside of those two, I think another receiver is a big need for the Detroit Lions. It's a good interior defensive line class. I think you could go get a guy. I'm going to take Roman Wilson here at number 61. At number 62, we got the Baltimore Ravens. A lot of ways that this team could go. I'm going to address the tackle position. Actually, no, we're going to take a running back, the first and probably the only running back we'll see. We'll take Trey Benson. This team is just kind of throwing darts at a dartboard, hoping a running back pans out. Melvin Gordon. Trey Benson's the best running back in this class. Great speed, elusive, shifty, and can be used a little bit as a receiver. I think Benson's a really good spot, a really good fit for Baltimore. At number 63, we talked about going offensive line. Well, we're not going to go that direction now. Defensive line is a need, but I'm going to go with a linebacker here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that really just hasn't had a lot of production at the linebacker spot. We're going to take Peyton Wilson out of NC State. Excellent athlete. Yes, there are injury concerns with him, but I think Pittsburgh coming away out of this draft with Puny, Peyton Wilson, and Michael Penix in your first three picks. I think that's excellent value. And then the final pick of this two-round mock is going to be Kalen King out of Penn State. Really bad Senior Bowl, but I still think the upside is there. He's shown potential. I think this is a good situation for him. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought. Who did you guys like? What pick did you agree with? What did you disagree with? Leave a like, subscribe if you are new. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.